Hey there guys, this is Obsidian Chill. Got another video for you today, and this is from the test server. This is a continuation of our Birds of Prey DLC releases. This is the 4-man alert, the Volcano Mining Facility. This alert is created by Sharon. If you're not aware of Sharon, he's one of my favorite developers along with Batuba. So Sharon did the damage control alert, he did the Darkness Rising, he created the Vampire Lord. He did the Silent School alert, the old Injustice system alert, if you remember that from back from episode 30, I believe. He did False Idols, he did Hive. So that's kind of his resume, short little glimpse of it, so you can kind of know what to expect from it. The other thing you can expect from it is if you check the timestamp, yes, this is a longer alert. It is in the 26-minute range. Now, I will say I chose more, I guess the Pug chose more of a balanced setup for this alert. So we have a tank, healer, and 2 DPS. Of course, you don't need a troll for alerts, just with the power back mechanics and the roll is buffed. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, would I run this with 3 DPS and a tank or 3 DPS and a healer? I think that is quite viable in either way. Because I think you're going to have to, because it's not so much as a longer alert because there's whole tons of things to kill. It's just that there's a lot of content in the alert. So I feel like if you went in with like 1 DPS or like 1 DPS and 1 lower gear DPS, you're going to be in there for quite some time. I should say as well, the minimum CR for this DLC, someone asked in the previous comments, or if you're wondering, I believe this was 287. Pretty sure it was 287. The suggested CR is 293. That's what I'm at now. That's what Fing Fang Foom is at as well. 295 and 299 are just a mix of blue vendor gear, stuff like that. So in terms of like max CR, I don't know offhand. I'll share that information in my Everything You Need to Know video in terms of like augments and everything else. But just be mindful that I'm the suggested CR for this alert. So I'll shut up for the cutscene.
Huh. Just one robot.
Okay, so I'll be more mindful this time to shut up for the cutscenes. I know that, myself, I don't even listen to game sound, so I would only listen to the subtitles, so I guess at some point I should be listening to them just to see what they actually sound like. I swear, this is not getting off topic for the actual alert here, but I legit haven't listened to game sound in probably 4 or 5 years. Like, not the game sound, like the background sound is on, but like in terms of like the movie volume and all the cutscene volumes, no idea. I couldn't tell you what half the things sound like. Because it just, I don't know, it doesn't interest me. I know that's a bit weird playing like a comic book game, but or a game based on comic book stories. Like I know a lot of the times in the past, my community or my chat has kind of got on me because I don't know the backstory to games. Like I have no idea about the birds. Well, I understand the concept of the Birds of Prey and who they are because I follow enough of I didn't read the comics, but I follow enough of like the DC universe that I understand who they are and what they do. But in terms of like their storylines or anything to do with Lex or all the stuff Nerd of Prey talks about, no idea. That's not up my alley. I'm sure if someone's really curious about that, they can either research it for themselves or ask someone, pose in the comments and someone else can respond, because I'm sure there's plenty of you that do kind of follow that lore and backstory. To me, I focus just on what DCUO presents in front of us in terms of content. That's what I'm interested in. How I fit into the story, how the mechanics are, everything like that. So it's not so much I play the game for the lore and being a superhero. I play it for, what are they going to do next and how are they going to engage me. So on that topic, I am Atomic. So the plan for my test server series is to not only show off the test server content, but to also show off the tank changes. So I did a kind of a brief introduction to what the tank changes were. So basically, they changed Atomic, Earth, Ice, and Rage. And Fire. Sorry, they changed. Actually, Fire saw the most changes. So the only thing what they changed with Atomic, you're not going to really see it in this alert, and you're not going to really see it in general. What they did was that increased the duration of the Glockron Aura, so it stays up longer. I believe 4 seconds. Don't necessarily quote me on that, but I believe it's 4 seconds longer. What that means is that if you get countered or basically it's a break between the ads, you don't have to keep comboing the hallway just to keep your aura up. You've got a little bit more of a grace period. And besides that, they did increase the control resistance to the aura. So what that means is that the control resistance before, I forget what it was, it's like 25, I believe. Comparison's sake, if you pop a breakout trinket, that's 30% control resistance. So now Atomic has 35% control resistance. So it has slightly higher control resistance than you would popping that breakout trinket. So, how much that actually applies to actual content, that's something that you'll have to kind of experience for yourself. There's plenty of times in here I still felt like I was countered or knocked up easily from like a brawling combo from Nos from an NPC. So, not that I'm expecting not to move at all. It's just something like that's a bit annoying, especially when I'm running a combo move. I'm not running Atom Splitter or I'm not running any other combos, especially not Atom Splitter, just because of the overlapping CC will lead to immunity. It's not necessary. I can do my pulls just fine on its own with the Atomic Organization. I don't need Atom Splitter. That's just something extra. I mean, technically you could run Atom Splitter just itself, but then the cooldowns don't line up, so that's an issue as well. So, popping into the gameplay for a moment, I'm not entirely sure the correct way to do this instance right here. So obviously you have that shield generator ad that's shielding the enemies that they're going to take a lot of damage, similar to like the Batcave raids with the shield armors. So my assumption would be, because I can't really target that shield generator, I'm not sure if I was supposed to pull the ads out. I keep trying to, but then obviously the shield generator moves with them. So I'm not sure if it was just the DPS are supposed to single target them down and then eventually kill it. Because usually in the Batcave raid there was 2 shield armor, so basically if you'd have to separate the ads because it would shield anything near it, and then if you got too close to each other, then it was an issue because then they'd be shielding each other. So it could have been just that I was supposed to separate them a bit more there. Not that it really mattered, it's just trash ads in the hallway. So we got another cutscene coming up, I'll shut up again.
And I've got thermal accelerants. Plus, what does this button do?
Who the hell is that?
Lex Luthor did not provide this unit with a designation.
OMG! That robot is Amazeballs!
This unit is now designated Amazeballs.
Oh, maybe something less... How about Amazo?
This unit is now designated Amazo.
I don't suppose Luther programmed you to call me Coffee.
Okay, so we're fighting Amazo. Amazo is actually pretty neat. Not that I knew his like comic background, but the way that he portrayed in the DC Universe, Justice League animated TV series, that was really nice. I like that storyline. There was the forget his name, the doctor from Star Trek Voyager was his voice. I'm sure he's done a bunch of other stuff, but Robert Picardo, was that his name? Anyway, he did a good job. I know that's not what Amazo is like in the actual comic books. I'm pretty sure he can only absorb like 1 power at a time, but like the cartoon series made him absorb everything, so it became like pretty much like an android god. I'm not sure if any of you guys remember that TV series, Justice League Unlimited, but that was kind of fun. So in terms of this fight itself, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really understand a lot of the mechanics. Well, I mean, this is the first run, so obviously you're getting a preview here, but... I know he shields himself at some point. I'm pretty sure that was... What threw me off was that this Fing Fang Foom was using aesthetic grenade. So I was thinking it was actually part of like alert mechanics, like he was doing that, because I was like, what kind of gadget DPS uses that supercharge? But that was kind of throwing me off because I was thinking that it was actually part of the raid fight. So the beginning of the fight is basically just a tank and spank. Not that you even need a healer at all, like a lot of this time, because most of the time I'm healing myself. The group's taking no damage, and then as he absorbs see now he's absorbing flash. So I mean, as long as you stay out of his way and don't get in between heat vision and stuff like that, I don't really see an issue. Then there's this part here where you kind of get frost encased. Other than that, it's really an interesting fight. It's just that I don't think the mechanics... Like, you don't get that sense of danger. That's the one thing I'd say with this alert overall compared to some of Sharon's other alerts. Like, say, Justice League Darkness Rising with Vampire Lord, you could die. I mean, there's plenty of times you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. Even in like Silent School, there's pots in that last that final fight. You're like, okay, there's a chance I could die here. In Justice System, I don't really remember. That was too old though. The other one was damage controls. Like there's spots where you could die. So same thing with these bombs. They're going off here. Players are kind of ignoring them, not turning the cogs. Or I guess Fing Fang Food is turning the cogs in there in the back. But yeah, it's just that this fight, it seemed like there should be plenty of times that you should be taking damage. But it's just that one of those times where it just didn't seem that case. Like you saw the bombs explode when I just popped a supercharge. I'm not even sure if those bombs even exploded and damaged the group. This part, a player has to teleport out to the terminal. So it seems like throughout the fight, you'll see, especially in this final fight as well, and this fight, there's a lot of optional things you can do. I'm sure there's tied to feats because there's a whole bunch of feats that are tied to this. And now he's doing Green Lantern powers. But I mean, the same thing. I mean, I'm not taking damage. Like, yeah, the Celestial Healer popped a sacrifice. You have a shield. But I mean, at the same time, it's just that so far we're not taking really any kind of damage in this fight. It just kind of, I mean, that's the kind of more off-topic conversation about Atomic as well. That's the one downside to being Atomic that I personally don't like. I'm more of a counter tank, so I feel like I can't do that effectively as Atomic just because you have to stop the combo and then lunge him or then counter him. So, and you can't really play with feints that much as Atomic because you can't really fake them out as a feint because you're in the middle of a combo. So that's what the one disadvantage to Atomic is. It's kind of combo or nothing. But yeah, I mean, he's already 3/4 down. Nothing. Yeah, we've had the interesting mechanics where he's done what? He's done Flash. He's done Superman abilities. He's done Green Lantern. I mean, now these turrets are up. But I mean, as you can see, no one's health is really moving at all. And same again. So I'm sure someone can teleport into the terminal deck to turn off the turret shields. But I mean, same thing. I've got my combo lock up, and the turrets aren't even touching me at all. I'm not taking any damage. Like, yeah, I've got the sacrifice shield up there, but I mean, it's not even enough damage to break the symbol shield. Like this entire fight. Oh, there we go. Machine gun turret was at about 2k. But I mean, okay, 2k ticks. So yeah, the turrets do damage you. I was taking some damage from it, just that the whole time just wasn't enough to break through anything. And then you also see you get the first boss in the alert. You get the OP legs. Same concept as before, where it's something like an artifact. Essentially, you have to fortify. Just before it became in the raids of the final boss, but now it comes in the alert. So I'm sure that'll be something to look forward to in a future video as well when I break down what you need. So another cutscene here. A lot of cutscenes in this alert. I think that's what adds some length of all. Like you saw how long that cutscene was for Amazo. I mean, yeah, it's really fun, but I mean, that's gonna add some time. It's the same thing, more trash in the hallway ads. So I guess while we're kind of clearing this trash, I could bring up something that I was talking about before. You also see some lag spikes in here, which is normally, I think that's something to do with the instance, because I never lag, certainly not on video when I record. So that's I think that's something to do with the instance, because I think that's like the second time already during watching this playback, doing this commentary, that I've seen myself have a lag spike. But I mean, at the same time, this was another part. I'm pretty sure I just did it incorrectly the first time. Obviously, this is my first walkthrough of the alert. I'm assuming you just have to avoid the actual beams. So, like, say this beam's coming up to front, I would just block it or walk under it. And then the next one comes, you just have to walk in the middle. But I got stuck and pushed back because I failed. Same thing in this one, you're just kind of getting through the field. I mean, yeah, you're taking some good damage from it, but at this point, you know, I could just pop the like mass density or something like that for the group to get through. I mean, you can't CC them or anything like that anyway, so it's up to the DPS to destroy them. So it's going to be one of those times where you just want to save a supercharge, get through it quickly. But yeah, while we kind of clear some trash here, I have no idea what these feats are for either. It's kind of it's something that was brought up before previously, but it's something that, in terms of adding a bit more difficulty to alerts, and you know, an opportunity to get more loot or more marks, something like that, they can bring back the elite alerts. Like, we haven't had elite alerts since Rip in Time, which is tier 8, and we've only had about 4 elite alerts altogether. So we had Phantom Zone, Demon Plan, Desecrated Cathedral, and then Rip in Time. So I think it's something that they could easily do, because all they have to do is upscale it. Like, they didn't really change any of the mechanics in Elite. It was just that some of the boss mechanics were a little bit more on detail, or they did something extra. But in terms of that, it was just damage. So that's something that I feel that they could bring back easily and implement again. Gives us a chance to get more marks, because you'd have, you know, even if you put it like a weekly like lockout instead of a daily, like an alert on the Elite one, you would still have a chance to get some extra marks. You'd have a chance to earn some extra renown. And gives us some more content too, because not only that, you wouldn't have to worry about queuing up for Elite each time. You could also do Elite alerts just for an extra challenge, something to do. But, you know, you guys can let me know in the comments what you think about that. But it's something I kind of told her. We haven't had too many Elite alerts, and I guess I'm not sure why they stopped doing them. But I mean, it was just something before. Like, even if you added something in that to get an extra catalyst, or get an extra whatever the catalysts are going to be for the OP legs, extra renown. Like, there's no downsides to having Elite alert, and it's something that could be upscaled. So, you know, it gives, you know, the end game player something to do, something they can challenge, or they could just run the regular alert. Like, they don't have to, because I'm sure the Elite alert, if this is going to take 29 minutes or 26 minutes, or whatever, then Elite alert is going to take probably 30-35 in terms of the same kind of instance. But another cutscene. I'll shut up. I was just kind of rambling for a bit.
I always hope you'll become a better man, and every time you let me down.
Blaming a mere man for your naivete? Not much of a superman, are you?
This isn't a game, Luther. Countless innocents have been hurt.
Sacrificing a few pawns was worth it. One day you'll understand. Take my Council of Luthers, for example. They inspired my new war suit. With it, I'll do more for Earth than you ever could, alien. I must admit, I miss this.
You're unhinged.
Pretend all you like.
Okay, so you can kind of tell from the timestamp here, this is actually a really long fight. Like, we're in the 10-minute range for this fight. This is the final fight of the alert. More so, it's a tank and spec with some extra mechanics added in. We've got this encasement here. I'm not sure what that was, or if you can avoid it. It happened to me twice. I think it's just melee range, because it affected me in OBDD. But it's certainly something that I was not looking to avoid, or I didn't see even Skull Attack. I'd have to go back to see if it actually was. But I mean, it's not something. Obviously, I didn't take any damage in it. It's just more so that Lex Luthor could drop a taunt. So this brings us to the first part of this fight that I don't agree with, and I'm pretty sure it has to be bugged, but it's something I want to give him feedback. So when the war suit comes out, you'll see right now Lex Luthor cannot be targeted, and now he's attacking the group. He's on Fing Fang right now. I can't pull him in, I can't aggro, so the whole time this war suit is out, it's a detaunt effect, and I can't like aggro Lex Luthor at all. He's just going to end up attacking the entire group. So, I mean, we can't have that, that's for sure. This thing with the bombs, I wasn't sure what to do either. These happened, I think, 2 or 3 times. When I picked them up, there wasn't an arrow, so I wasn't sure where I was supposed to direct it at, or if I was supposed to destroy something, because obviously Lex Luthor encased me, so I couldn't do anything anyway. But those bombs are pretty much ignored throughout the entire instance, so I'd have to run it a few times to see actually what those actually did, or what their purpose was. Maybe they'll cut some time, but I mean, I don't think anyone picked them up in the group at all. So basically, now another war suit comes out. You'll see Lex Luthor's shield again. He's on me until my taunt drops, which will probably be another like 4 or 5 seconds, and the taunt's going to drop, and then he's going to attack another player, which is usually being either static or DPS. So, I mean, once again, it's something we can't have. We can't have a taunt drop in a fight. See, there you go, taunt drop, because it elapsed. And now he's attacking the group. So either if he's going to be in a shield, that's fine when the war suit's up, but he still has to be targetable, so I can put a taunt on him. And now these turrets are up attacking Superman. The DPS were a little bit slow to actually DPS them. I'm not sure what this other DPS or TPS is doing with with Gemstone Shield, but I mean you'll see his damage at the end. So obviously, maybe he was trying a new unique rotation. But same thing. The turrets are up. We're supposed to kill a turret so they could top attacking Superman. We didn't necessarily do that, so I'm not sure what the side effect of that would be. But I mean, you can see, even with the Lex fight, I mean, yeah, I'm sure I have some healing over time from the social healer, but I'm not even getting enough damage to go through my atomic heals. Like, my health hasn't even budged. Like, I mean, you have to comment, but has my health even dipped, like, below half for this entire alert so far? And I'm 293. I mean, like, I'm at the suggested CR. Like, yeah, I have 200 artifacts, but, I mean, it's not even budging. And that's me, like, I've barely even touched Hardlight Shield this entire time. And, like, I don't even have to hit, I'm hitting Proton Remedy kind of effortlessly. I don't even need to, I'm just doing it. The same thing with the density, I'm not necessarily needing that to clip, I'm just using that in my regular rotation. So even actually using a proper rotation, I'd even take less damage. So now the bombs are out. Explode. What is that up there? Explode. Avoid the explosive traps drop from the ceiling. So, I mean, I picked it up. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do. I mean, I thought I could destroy a turret with it. Maybe I damaged it a bit, but I mean, it didn't really chunk it much at all. So maybe it's just something we have to avoid. But if we have to avoid them, I'm not sure why we can pick them up. Because usually if it's something like that we can interact with, there'd be like an icon or arrow above my head, like I'm supposed to bring it somewhere. But it could be something that just you need to just help destroy the turrets or help do some extra damage. I don't know. I think I only saw 8k damage from it when it exploded, which obviously isn't going to amount to much on a sentry turret. So now we get a debuff. So now you can see my health actually dip. I'm pretty sure this was because we weren't targeting the turrets, so that Lex Luthor kind of went crazy. Once again, I can't taunt him. He's in that shield effect. So I can't do anything. I popped mass density, you saw there. It didn't matter. Whatever passive damage from that healing debuff is from the environmental energy spill. That goes through shields. So that 20k dot tick, that goes right through mass density. So, I mean, that was pointless. So I guess this is one of the times where we would need a healer. But, I mean, at the same time, I'm sure that had to do with us not destroying the sentry turrets. Because, I mean, they're still up. So I think that was just a matter of the DPS not focusing on the sentry turrets. Because that's the only thing I can think of. But, I mean, as you saw, as soon as Lex Luthor popped that purple shield, my taunt expired, he basically killed static. And there's nothing, I can't do anything. I can't shield for the res because the environmental damage is going through the shield. And, you know, I can't taunt Lex because he's in his personal protective shield. But besides that, I mean, it's just a tank and spank fight. Another warsuit comes out, same thing. I was a bit slow in the pull there, that's why he lunged static, but I wasn't really paying attention to see where the warsuit to spawn to, where I could have stood there. But, you know, Lex Luthor's in his greedy shield, he's attacking static, static's half health. I can't do anything because I can't taunt Lex Luthor. But the thing is, if I could taunt him, I mean, once again, this fight has, you know, there's no risk of dying. I mean, that's the easiest way I could put it. I know that's not really like a scientific, you know, in-depth term to use, just chance to die. I just don't feel like there's any risk. Same thing, I tried to do something with the bombs, threw at the turret, didn't really do anything. I couldn't take us that landing pad, so, I mean, I don't know what the purpose of those bombs are. They don't seem to do anything. I'll have to ask Sharon later. But now the turrets are up again. DPS are still focusing on Lex Luthor. Now we've got the energy environmental spill dot taken, 15k. And now I'm health debuffed. So you have a chance to turn the cog on these cores and I'm not sure if it released Huntress because I was the only one really focusing on the cores. I told them to. I think I typed in chat in a moment to put it. Same thing. I got encased again by Lex Luthor. I'm not sure how to avoid that. I don't think that was a skull attack, and it just happened. So same thing. It's annoying because I mean, stuff's going through the shield. Turn the cores. Turn them into Huntress. You have to wait your turn. So while you're turning the cog, if everyone's standing there with a core, then you can't turn the cog on Huntress. You have to wait till she's done it. And the other nice thing was that when you turn the core, it doesn't actually. That was the one neat thing. When I turn the cog on the core just goes above my body. So I'm not holding anything. I'm not. I can still attack. I can still fight. I can still taunt. It's just above me. So I really like that effect where it doesn't hinder you. And this is what I was explaining about waiting a turn. I've got the core, but the cog's not up because everyone's turning it in. You know what? The funny thing is that a damage attack is really weak when it doesn't even go through density. Like the weakest tank shield in the entire game by far, and damage doesn't even go through it at the suggested CR. Like I am what's that? 11 CR levels lower, and it doesn't even go through density. That's when you know it's weak. So once again, I can't tell if really giving those cores to Huntress actually did anything. I don't believe they did anything, or we just kind of ended the fight before it even mattered. So, take care, guys. I know this commentary was kind of all over the place. I think it was more just intimidating. It's like, wow, geez, what am I going to talk about for 26 minutes? But I do apologize for the randomness of that commentary. We'll be a little bit more focused on the raids, but that's to come. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching.